Alright, so this episode we're going to be making the sentence structure and some basic root words. So open up your phonetics. I also did change these two because I did think it was a bit confusing. So now is represented with as an umlaut, and long so is represented with double acute. This one, which is oo, is just represented with singular u, nothing added. Yeah. So you're going to want to establish some basic root words. So, for example, maybe I, me, you, but singular, you plural, so as in like you guys. He, she, it. We, us. I'm just going through these, by the way. They, them. And then probably, yeah, for the example I'll do, you'll make person, animal, rock, to see, to sit. So make a word for all of these. Now, since I'm basing this off of Celtic language, for example, Welsh, I'm going to go to Google Translate, and I know it's a terrible translating app, but you know. So what's the first one? I.
E.
It looks like it's just an air, so I'm basing it off. Oh, I, me. We could do fear. Fear. Then again, I like the idea of having a long vowel for fair. All long vowels are represented with a macron, by the way. It's just a very common thing to do in a language. And why has it pasted it to that size? That is not what I wanted it to do. So we can make I and me the same because, you know. So now we'll look at you. Now I did have a very interesting idea that Shakespearean English does. I'm studying that in school at the moment. T. What if we mixed it up a bit? Oh, I did add the uvula. That should not be there. It should be here. The uvula stop k. Just as like something a bit rarer. You don't get it in many languages. So what if we used p? No. Me. C. How about S-I-C? With a long vowel at the end. I'm going to get copyrighted for that. Why does it keep doing that? Here we go. You singular. Now you plural. I'm going to make a pluralization mark. So. Is that how you spell it? I just spelled it right the first time. Pluralization. Let's add shoe. Shoe. Shoe.
Sure.
Shoe. Okay, long vowel shoe. Where is the macron? Oh my goodness, why does it keep doing this? Okay. He, she, it. Right, he, she, it. Oh, at this point, we might want to establish whether it's going to be like a Romance language like Spanish or French, where it's going to have a vowel at the end that would tell you it's about female or male. For simplicity, I'm not going to do that, because then you have to establish every noun has a feminine or a masculine version of it. So he, she, it. We'll just go he.
If.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it earth. I don't know why. Earth. Ah, no, now I've got to, oh god. Oh god. Where is the capital U with umlaut? Alright, so I made the pluralization mark, as you may have seen, and I made a couple of words. At this point, you're going to want to establish a default word order. So, a very common one is to start with the subject. So, if we were to, we'll start with the person sees the animal. Now, the person is the subject, sees is the verb, and the animal is the object. So English has a word order of subject, verb, object. Probably the most common one would be subject, object, verb, so the person the animal sees. That's very common. Object starting languages, so the animal the person sees, it's very, like, extremely rare. But my personal favourite is verb, subject, object, or verb, object, subject. So verb, subject, object, which is sees the person the animal, or sees the animal the person. So personally, I think for this language I'll do verb, subject, object. So in order to say the person sees the animal, you would say sees the person the animal, or in this part, sees quel. How do you put sees the person and the animal. I put two N's. Nice. Quel I'm not even going to try to pronounce that yet. Yeah. So that's about it for the Phonotactics. The pluralization, is very common, is to just do the word for you plural, or you many, or just the word for many. Another thing you might want to do is you might want to, actually you're going to have to decide whether your nouns are derived from adjectives or, No, are your adjectives derived from nouns or verbs? So in Mandarin, or actually we'll use my previous language, Hanaku, as an example. So instead of big, you would say growing, because growing is the verb. And yeah, but most languages have, for this language I'll do noun-like adjectives. So if we would say the, so if you said the big animal, you might say, I don't know, big thing, the big thing animal. Actually, we'll put it into order. So the big animal. That the big would be actually treated as a verb, wouldn't it? Okay, hang on. Let me rephrase this. The person sees the big animal. Okay, so the person sees the big animal, written as though you would, so starting with sees. The person. The person. Here's a problem. They edit the subject or the object. So do they proceed or do they proceed or precede? I think that's how you say it. For now we'll say they go before. So the person, the animal, the big thing. Person sees the person, the big thing, the animal. So now we have to add a word for the big thing. So since I'm doing it based off Welsh, we'll do big thing. Peth moir. So we'll just say peth, because peth is easier. I am not good at spelling. Peth. Alright. Now, I'm pretty sure that's it. I think we do have